All right, let's talk about a huge fundamental shift in how the most successful people operate. We're talking about the difference between just waiting for something good to happen and actually making it happen. We're going to explore how you can build your own engine for creating opportunities instead of just sitting back and hoping for a lucky break.
So let me just ask you this straight up. In your work, in your business, are you playing defense? Waiting for the phone to ring, hoping that perfect opportunity just lands in your lap? Or are you playing offense? Are you the one making that phone ring? That one difference right there, well, that's everything we're breaking down today.
And this coach just nails it. The top performers out there, they don't see business development as some chore, something they have to tick off a to-do list. For them, it's a completely different thing. It's a mindset. It's a way of looking at the world that's always on, always scanning for connections, always seeing potential.
And that's what we're calling the opportunity mindset. It's like you're training your brain to see the things that other people miss. The subtle signals, the quiet conversations, the little shifts happening in the market that point to a future need. It's all about getting in there right at the very beginning, way before it becomes some official job posting and, all the competition comes flooding in.
Okay, so here's the game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with the 3 channels where all opportunities come from. Then we'll get into the specific tactics for each one. After that, we're going to dive into this brilliant idea called the thermometer principle that kind of ties it all together. And we'll wrap up with the single most important ingredient, consistency.
All right, let's get into the framework. See, creating opportunities isn't about just randomly firing off emails and hoping something sticks. No, there's actually a structure to it. It all comes down to understanding the 3 main channels where these opportunities are born.
And here they are. This model just makes it so simple. First, you've got outbound. That's all you, making the first move. Then there's market-led, which is about seeing what's happening out there and acting on it. And finally, relationship-led, which is all about leveraging the network you've already built. Now here's the real secret. The best of the best don't just pick one. They become masters at weaving all 3 of these together.
So let's break that down into what you can actually do. We're going to look at some specific tactics for each of these channels and really unpack what it means to be proactive, perceptive, and personal in your approach. First up, outbound. This is where you are the engine. And believe me, it is so much more than just making cold calls. Think bigger. Think about strategically marketing a rockstar candidate you found directly to a handful of perfect fit companies, or turning a simple reference check into a deep conversation about that company's hidden challenges. In this channel, you are the one who starts the fire. But listen, here is the absolute golden rule for outbound. Proactive does not, I repeat, does not mean annoying. You have to always make contact with context. This means it's the end of those lazy just checking in calls. You need a real reason, a clear target, and a value proposition that instantly answers the question, why should I talk to you right now?
Reverse marketing is a perfect example of this in action. It's not about blasting a resume out to 100 people. It's a precise 4-step process. First, you find and qualify a true A player. Then, you do your homework and pinpoint exactly which companies need that person the most. You craft the pitch that solves a real, painful problem for them, and then you position the whole conversation for success. See, it's not a shotgun blast, it's a surgical strike.
Okay, next up is the market-led channel. And this one is all about perception, about paying attention. The market is constantly screaming signals at you. A company gets a massive round of funding, a competitor wins a huge project, a new exec gets hired. These aren't just headlines on the news. They are giant flashing green lights telling you exactly where the opportunities are about to pop up.
And this is why that's so important. A big funding announcement, that means they're about to go on a hiring spree. A new leader comes in, that means they're probably about to restructure their team. So if you see a company just hired a new VP of sales, for example, you don't wait. You reach out immediately with a quick note to congratulate them, maybe add a little piece of insight about the talent market in their industry. Just like that, you're on their radar, you're adding value, long before they even thought about writing a job description. The real win comes from acting on the signal, not the final announcement.
And finally, we have the relationship-led channel. This, my friends, is the long game. It's built on a foundation of trust and rapport that you've earned over time. We're talking about your personal network, people you've helped in the past, valuable connections you make. This is the channel that runs on warm.
Now here's a kind of counterintuitive truth about this channel. The absolute strongest professional relationships are built when you don't need anything from the other person. Think about a candidate you helped land a job 2 years ago. Every few months, you just send a quick note, maybe an article you think they'd find interesting, no ask. Then, one day, they message you, Hey, my team is expanding and you were the first person I thought of. See? That's the result of all the deposits you made in the bank of trust, which you can then draw on when a real need finally arises.
So, okay, we've got these 3 channels: outbound, market-led, relationship-led. But how do you make them all work together? How do you actually move a contact from just a cold name on a list to a warm, receptive partner? Well, this is where the thermometer principle comes in. It is such a fantastic mental model for building relationships.
You know, so often we make this mistake of seeing our contacts as binary. They're either a cold lead or a hot lead. But that's just not how human connection works, is it? It's not a light switch you just flip. Instead, think of it like a thermometer, where every single interaction you have can slowly, steadily raise the temperature.
So maybe your first interaction, that quick outbound call with real context, well, that's not about closing a deal. It's just about raising the temperature from total stranger to familiar. That's it. They now know who you are. The needle has moved up just a few degrees.
So what's the next step? Well, you follow up. But not by asking for something, but by giving something, a piece of market insight, a relevant article. Now you're not just familiar, you're credible. The temperature rises again. You're starting to be seen as an expert, not just another salesperson.
And then you spot one of those market signals, and you reach out with a perfectly timed message. And because you've already built that foundation of familiarity and credibility, the conversation is just easy. It's natural. You've created comfort, the relationship is now genuinely warm, and they're actually happy to hear from you.
And right here, this is the punchline to the whole thing. One big, grand gesture rarely works. It's the small, steady, valuable interactions over time that raise that temperature. Consistency is what turns a cold contact into a hot opportunity.
Okay, let's bring this all home. We've got the mindset, we've got the channels, we've got the thermometer principle. But you know what? None of it means a thing without execution. This is all about turning this theory into a consistent, daily practice.
And when it comes down to it, there are really 2 paths you can take. On one side, you have the common mistakes, only doing this stuff when you're desperate, making calls with no real purpose, and just letting things fall through the cracks. And then on the other side, you have the keys to success. Small, consistent daily activity, always having a real reason to connect, and treating your follow-ups with serious discipline.
Ultimately, everything we've covered, all the tactics, the channels, the principles, it's all powered by just one thing. It's that single shift in your own mind. A shift from waiting for work to come find you to seeing that opportunity is literally everywhere, if you just know how to look for it and have the courage to act on it. So I'll leave you with this one final thought. We've just walked through the entire architecture of how opportunities are generated. The real question now is, what are you going to build with it? What's the one market signal, the one outbound target, or the one relationship you're going to start warming up this week? Because knowing this stuff isn't enough. The real change comes from doing.